What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative. Today we're going to be talking about Waking Ursa Minor by Helen Rygh-Pedersen. It is the first book in her epic fantasy series, Riverda Rising. Guys, I cannot wait for book 2. It is so funny how I ended up reading this book. So I'm over here, I'm just living my life. Rosalie, one of the members of my Discord, links this book. And she's like, guys, this author is looking for reviewers over on Instagram. She has a little Google Doc. You fill that out, and if you're approved, she'll let you read this book. All of us went to look at it. I was sold immediately when I saw the cover. I did read the blurb. That further cemented I wanted to read this book. So a ton of us applied. We got approved. We had a great read in my Discord. Loved it. Loved it. And it's so much fun when it's an author you've never read before. It's their debut. I looked further into it after I started reading it. The writing style is amazing. It's so creative. It's so good. It's so in-depth. It's very methodical. The author, Helen Rygh-Pedersen, she's actually had this story. She's been building it since she was 11 years old. You can tell the time was spent. I hope the whole series is built out because I need book 2. But before we get into what I liked, what did I not like? Okay, I mean, I really love this book, but if I had to say there was anything I didn't like, the prologue was weird. For me, reading fantasy and with Brandon Sanderson, I know prologues sometimes don't make sense until after you read the book, and then sometimes they make sense as the story progresses. So I didn't let that stop me. And then the chapters are really long. Like, I'm somebody that I can't sit still for very long. I will read a chapter or two and then do something else and then come back. So when the chapters are longer and it takes me like 30 minutes, y'all, it's a struggle. But I hate to break in the middle of a chapter. I'm just OCD about it. You know, so that's just an absolute me thing. It just doesn't reflect on the author of the book. That's just me. If I had to say, oh, you gotta find something you don't like. All right, long chapters. Anyway, this book was published by HRP Publishing, came out February 22nd of this year, and weighs in at around 702 pages. I know you're thinking, that's a chunker. It does not read that way. Even though it has long chapters, it is a very good book. It is action-packed, and it's not the kind of action that you get tired of, the heart-pounding, heart-racing, where you need a break to recover. There's something interesting happening with a character or a group or something along that line. Like, there's something interesting that just keeps you turning those pages. I read it so fast because it was so good. The characters were developed so well. Lots of them too, and they have weird names, but Amanda from the Reading and Writing Life, like, we gave them nicknames. Usually we would shorten it down to like the first 4 letters of their name, so that was kind of funny. But the other funny part of that is the more that I read the book, the more their full name flowed for me. If that makes any kind of sense, I don't know if it does. But, you know, fantasy books have 2 things you can count on: maps and weird character names. Unless you're Tony Johnson and you name your main character Steve. Thanks, Tony. But in addition to developing the characters really well, there are different tribes, different groups. This country of Riverda is now islands. Something happened that broke them apart and separated them. And so our story takes place in and around these islands. And it was really creative how the author traveled us through the islands too. Like, so creative. It was just so brilliant. So we got to see a lot of terrain and area, meet different peoples, learn about them and their religions, and oh man, sometimes their destruction. It was amazing. This author did not pull any punches. There were a lot of brutal moments, but those moments helped us understand other characters, and it was so good how well everything fit together. When I think back on it, just the journey was amazing. I mean, I could also really describe this as a coming of age. Our character, Sarah, I cannot say her full name out loud. We're just not gonna try. Sarah, I wanna say is 18. She's either 16 or 18. She is trying to find her identity, who she is. When we meet her, she's an orphan. She does not know anything about herself. Over the course of this story, she does find out who she is, where she came from. But in that middle part of the story, she experiences different countries and cultures and people, and she adapts and loves these people, and they feel a part of her. So she is struggling constantly. Like, who does she want to be? It's so good. It's just the journey of love and loss and identity. It was everything I didn't know I wanted in a story. So you might be thinking, a fantasy coming of age story, why is that interesting? Well, for starters, she's being chased by a deadly assassin who will wipe out whole villages to get to her, to try and kill her, to prevent her from bringing a prophecy to bear. Yes, guys, yes, you heard me, prophecy. I love stories that involve prophecy. It just fascinates me because you never know. Prophecy can always say something in words but mean something completely different. Then they're riddles and they have maybe more than one meaning. It's always fun to explore and see how that's going to play out. And then sometimes maybe the prophecy you're a part of brings about something bad. It tells you it's going to bring about something bad, and you realize it is going to bring about something bad, but you have no choice. It's set in motion. You've got to see it through and then hope for the best on the other side. I mean, it's just, oh, I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. I'm sure it is glaringly obvious to you by now. I love this story. I think you might would like it too, especially if you like epic fantasy. If you're a fan of The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. If you're a fan of The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. I think you would like this book. It just has so many things about it that make it good. Like, if it just had 2 or 3, it would still be a great book, but it has more than that. And there's just so many different things that will appeal to different readers that this author just does an amazing job with. Guys, what do you think? Do you think you might would like to give this one a try? It almost also gives me Narnia vibes because of the different types of people we meet. That just totally hit me out of the blue because I was picturing in my mind Cheskia and how she looks and what she is, and for some reason it reminded me of the little centaur fawn guy from Narnia. There you go. If you like the Chronicles of Narnia, I think you would like this book. I'm gonna have it linked down below. Go check out the description, see what you think. Let me know in the comments what you think you might would do. That will do it today for me in talking about Waking Ursa Minor by Helen Rygh-Pedersen. I hope you look into it and see if it's one you might would enjoy. Let me know in those comments down below if you do decide to pick it up. I'd love to chat with you about it. There is a whole channel dedicated to it in my Discord server if you would like to pop in and see what the rest of us thought. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one.